Welcome back to the second video on conditional formatting. Let's continue learning the different types of formatting available. Let's finish up quickly with duplicate conditions, where we're going to find the unique ones in this list, and in the same list, let's find the duplicates. And then in this list, we're going to find not the first two duplicates of the first instance, but only highlight the second instance where the duplicate is made. So to do this one, we're going to have to write a formula, and the other two, all we need to do is a quick access button from here in conditional formatting. First, let's just clear our rules from the entire sheet, and that will clear them. Now, just like always, grab the range that needs to get formatted, and let's go up here to the quick access buttons. And in the first one, to highlight cell rules, we can just say duplicate values. If we click on this, it actually has unique in here as well, so don't get confused that it's only going to do duplicates. No, you can actually do unique as well. And let's change it to have custom formatting. Pop down right here. Let's just change the fill so that it's, let's do this yellow, hit OK, and hit OK again. The second one, we'll highlight the list, go to the same exact button to do the duplicate values. And just as you saw, we were doing duplicates a second ago. So leave it on duplicates, but we'll change the formatting so it's green. We'll pick the second green, hit OK, and OK again. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I don't want to highlight all the duplicates. I just want to highlight the items that made it a duplicate, which would be the next in the list. So don't highlight these, but highlight these. Now this is a formula. It's actually kind of tricky, but let's go ahead and write it, and then we'll get started with writing formulas to conditionally format cells. So when you start thinking about the logic that you're going to need to have to figure out, is this number or this item number, is that a duplicate or is it unique? Well, we need to first check, hey, how many times have we seen it? Have we seen it one time? Have we seen it two times? You know, what's the count of how many times we've seen it? So if you're kind of thinking in counting terms and you're saying, hey, if it equals this number and you see it again, then count it a second time, that kind of seems like a count if, and I'm just giving it away as count if. So if we use the count if formula, we're asked for a range and the criteria. So the range, we only want to look at this first one. And I'll show you why. So then I hit colon and then let it give me the second piece. And I'm just gonna lock up this side. So then hit F4 with this one, but I'm gonna leave this open as a relative reference and then this one as a absolute. This will create an extending range when I drag it down. So it'll always be D9, but when I drag this formula down one, it'll be D9 to D10 because this one's relative and I dragged it down one. Now, at the second piece, the criteria, it's always needing to run it against itself, saying, hey, how many times have you seen this so far in the list? And so far in the list is what I kind of mean by saying, hey, when I drag this down, now you can see these two populate as two, because so far in the list is only one. So far in the list is two items. So far in the list, there's three items, and 4 and 5 and 6. And when you get to 5 and 6, this range, now that there's 6 items, hey, it's seen this number once prior right up here. But the first time it counted as number 1 here, and it knew that this was number 2. So if we go with that logic and we say, hey, Excel, only highlight cells that are greater than 1, that would then accomplish what we're trying to do. So what we need to do now is we need to pop into the formula and make it a true or false statement so that the conditional formatting can know that when it is true, it's going to get the format. When it's false, it's not going to get the format. So to make this a true statement, we need to say, hey, is this number, whatever gets returned, is it greater than 1? And hit enter. So this will be false and hit enter. And the first 4 will be false, but the last 2 will be true because these return 2, and that is greater than 1. So now we need to grab this formula and make sure that you grab the topmost formula. So I'm going to copy it. And then you have to select the range, but it's really important that this top cell is the active cell selected. So this one's kind of white and the rest are gray. That's indicating that this top one is the one that's selected. Again, that's very important. Then go into conditional formatting. And instead of going into one of these quick access buttons to set up formatting, we're going to just create a new rule from scratch. And you'll get this dialog box. It looks very similar to what you've seen when you go ahead and edit one of the quick access buttons. This is the long form of setting up those rules. So you could create any of those quick access button rules in here. Just as you can see, format only unique or duplicate values. You could come in here and you could do just what we did on these first 2 lists using this button right here and say highlight a duplicate or unique value and set some formatting. For this example, because we just grabbed that formula, we're asking Excel to use a formula to determine which cells to format. And Excel prompts us that it's going to format values where this formula is true. So exactly how we did here, only when it's true, these bottom two. That's why we wrote this formula on the worksheet and not within here. When you write a formula in here, this dialog box is really sensitive. So it's best to just write it outside of it and then come in here, Control V to paste it. Now the format that I want is a lighter blue. So I'm going to pick the second blue just to be consistent, hit OK, and hit OK again, and it worked beautifully.